Head Harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast. And I'm here at NLLP Elevate in Phoenix. It's a beautiful spot, Jerry. I'm telling you what. And look at my buddy, expatriate from Valley Crest.
That's right.
He's launched in a whole nother career. And guess what? We're working together on another little project,
We
right?
are.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing these days.
So I'm the COO of Strata Landscaping Services. We are part of a roll-up we're backed by Align Capital Partners out of Dallas, Texas. Pretty excited about it. We bought initially a company that we had created at our, I guess where the co-founders and I met at Electric Sheep. So myself, Ben Green, and Justin Crandall came together, started Strata. We bought the company that we'd been working together with Electric Sheep, and now we just finished up our biggest acquisition in Salt Lake City, a company called Boulder Landscaping, about $13 million in revenue.
Wow. So I was at a show not too long ago. I think it was a technology show. I'm walking the show there, and there, lo and behold, there's Jerry and Justin, and actually Ben was there.
Yeah.
And we reconnoitered.
Yes,
and
we did.
Did some memories together, and I learned what you guys are doing. And lo and behold, I have a customer that wanted to exit their business. And so we hooked up, and we're putting a deal together right now. So tell me, for those listeners out there, what are some of the qualities you look for in an acquisition?
So we have a geography that we, worked with a private equity company to come together on initially. It's, honestly, our target markets are Salt Lake City, Boise, we're Las Vegas, and then Southern California. Kind of using the I-15 corridor as our up and down process. And then, Boise really ties in with Salt Lake. It's a complementary market. And then as far as the actual targets, we're looking at companies, what we call foundation company, which is typically a $10 to $20 million base that gets us into a particular geography. And then we'll have what we'll call either a satellite or a tuck-in that'll come in underneath of that company. And the priority obviously is the initial company, the foundation company. We want somebody that's known very well in the industry and in that geography, that has a good name, good recognition, and that we can kind of build on. So that's how we take a look at the business.
So geography, size, now you start drilling down inside that. Some of the qualities of the company itself, like you want all construction, you want a little bit of construction, you want all maintenance, you want tree care. Tell me a little about what you're searching for there.
It's a great question. So, and it depends on the geography. In the non-seasonal markets, we really want a company that's very heavy in maintenance. So maintenance for us is a big deal, at least 70 to 80% if we can get it. We're willing to go down to 60% if it has enough of an enhancement mix on top of that maintenance base. And then we'll layer in some arbor care and some irrigation, obviously, into it. But for us, the maintenance base is the most important part.
Okay, so if that maintenance base, say there's a couple large jobs in there, how does that factor into the thing? Maybe it's more than 30% of the billing, or where's that threshold that's like,
well, Mark Twain said, if you put all your eggs in one basket, watch that basket.
Yeah.
So for me, we prefer, if it's not all in one basket. At the end of the day, we'd like to have a nice even distribution, because if there's a really big client that makes up a majority of that work, for us, that's a little bit of a liability out of the gate. But I will tell you, we've been pretty good. We've been over 95% retention on the acquisitions that we've made so far. And we obviously put a lot of attention on those bigger clients.
Yeah. So you look at also enhancement penetration rate ratio to,
100%, yeah.
So what are you looking for there? What's a target?
So, in my background, again, the geographies sometimes dictate that, because if you have a snow market, then that snow market's going to affect that penetration rate, usually positively. But we'll actually look at more construction in those snow markets, because then we have that offset if there isn't snow, so that there's a layered background to keep the guys busy. And so for us, that's what we look at in the snow markets. But yeah, in the non-seasonal markets, the penetration rate between 40% is usually kind of the target number that we're looking at. And if they're doing better than that, great. If they're not, we're not scared of it, because we think that's something we're going to bring to the table.
Yeah. How about margin, gross margin? That's one of my favorite things, Jerry. All I talk about is gross margin when we talk.
Well, it's
gross
funny.
Margin targets, percentage-wise?
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, because in the PE world, we have to call it bid margin. because they're not used to gross margin. Gross margin for them does layer in fuel costs, repair costs, things like
different.
that. So for us, we call that bid margin now. It's something that I've had to learn as we've moved forward. But at the end of the day, on the bid margin side, what we've always called historically gross margin in the landscape industry is, typically a 50% base margin for maintenance, and then we're looking for probably to 60 to 65 on enhancements.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yep.
How about retention rate of? Is that pretty important? Retention rate of employees and customers? How's that factor in?
For us, because each company that we look at may be in a different status, as far as how they're growing, what their churn level is. But if it's very unstable, if it's in the 80s, then we're probably not looking at it very favorably. We like to see at least 90% retention.
Yeah, pretty good. Good. That's a good milestone, folks. Keep that in mind, right?
Definitely.
Pretty important. How about the person that owns the company? What are you thinking about on keeping them on board, or are they leaving, or how's that work with you guys?
I think that's the one thing that differentiates us at Strata is that we are very malleable. We're looking at every opportunity. We've got, we've probably interviewed over 20 potential acquisitions over the last, since we started the company last April. And of those, most of them, are looking to leave at some point in time, usually 1 or 2 years out. But if it's a company that the owner wants to stick around, we like that too, especially if they're willing to roll some equity into the business, because then we know they've got a chip in the game. But if they want to leave and take their money, the payout's probably going to be a little bit less, overall. But at the end of the day, we're malleable in the fact that we will make, evolve the contract into something that's a win-win for both parties. I think that's one of the things we really try and differentiate ourselves with is that if you're a potential acquisition or someone that's looking to sell, we will work with you to make sure that it's not an opportunity where we're going to be the winner. We want it to be a win-win for both companies.
You bet. So I've been talking with Ben a little bit. He's in charge on onboarding. He's like chief implementation officer?
Integration officer.
Yeah,
Yep.
CIO.
CIO. It's his new title. He's actually pretty excied about it.
He does. He showed me his Gantt chart and everything, step by step by step.
620 levels,
steps
baby.
in the whole thing, right? But I like his detail, and it really, it's kind of a scary time when you sell a business, and really making sure that people don't get wigged out and they stick around and they feel positive. And usually, like the deal we're looking at, I think it's going to be a big positive. You had different benefits and opportunities and career ladders and all sorts of good things. And I think the owner really looks at it in that perspective.
Well, I'll give you guys a lot of credit on that because we deal with a lot of different companies, and they have, somebody that's their broker that they're marketing with that candidly doesn't do a good job or has oversold them. The deck that we got from you guys, it was all there. We didn't have anything we really had to do besides just talk to the owner and make sure that it was a good fit person on the personnel side. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
Some of them, it's a real estate friend of theirs that they brought in, and it's like, this is going to be hard.
Yeah, that's a good point. Attorney and CPA,
Yep.
Sometimes we have the family attorney in there. They don't know how to do a deal. And listen, folks, I know you might be an attorney yourself, or you might have friends that are attorney. My dad was an attorney, but they're the ones that usually kind of, what I'd say, mess it up sometimes.
Yes.
You can kind of count on them having dual battles with the buyer and the seller attorneys. So make sure you got an attorney that knows how to do an acquisition and knows how to sell.
I'm a recovering ex-wife attorney situation myself, so I understand it totally.
That's great. Hey, those are all great tips, Jerry. Jerry, I'm sorry. And we look forward to working with you and making some more sales there. And I think we got one closing here pretty soon.
We do. I'm very excited about it.
It's at the end of the month.
It's coming right up,
It'll be
baby.
a great Thanksgiving. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
I'll
Jerry.
owe you for sure.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Head harvester Bill Armin from the West Coast. Now go out there and harvest your potential and start planning your exit strategy now. It's never too early. And give us a call. My link's right down below with the Harvest the Green partners. We'd love to help you get ready for your exit. We'll see you soon.